episode of Diaries of a Working Couple. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Chris.
And Stockholm Syndrome is not listed in the DSM 5 as a mental disorder.
I don't even know what Stockholm Syndrome is.
Stockholm Syndrome is when people are held captive and they like side with their captors. Like they feel sympathy and they create like an emotional relationship with their captors. And they don't want their captors to like get in trouble or get hurt or anything like that. So think a lot of people say it's not going to be a good example for you. Beauty and the Beast.
Nope.
But it's actually very interesting. So Stockholm Syndrome actually comes from a case of a bank holdup in Stockholm where it was like a 5 or 6 day standoff. But the bank robber was like, I want X amount of money. I want my friend released from jail, or like this specific person released from jail. I think there may have been like one other condition.
Demand.
Yeah. And the police really bumbled the entire thing. But the bank robber had like a gun and was like, oh, like I'm gonna shoot everyone, this, that, and the other. But then when the cops weren't listening, he's like, okay guys, like here, take the phone, like call your loved ones, let them know that you're okay. Like I'm not here to hurt you. I really just want this and X, Y, and Z. And he would make sure that they had food. He would make sure that they were able to like contact their family members. Like the one girl ended up getting her period while she was there, and the guy was like the captor, when he was like negotiating with the cops, he was like, yeah, like send in some sandwiches. Oh, and we also need like tampons because this poor woman is dealing with this. And the cops like just
But to me, this is like the reverse, right? Because
so what happened was, because he was taking care of them, they were like, he shouldn't get hurt. Like, why? Like, they really just wanted him to be like not like shot at by the cops and everything. And
yeah,
they created like they cared for their captor at that point because he was taking care of them, and like he wasn't being like super demanding and super like terrifying like you would normally think or see. But instead, they like Stockholm Syndrome, they think it kind of seems more like a brainwashing, like when we talk about it in regular terms. Because it seems like almost that
I was thinking like an older man and like an underage woman or something like that, and like, if they got caught in a relationship, and then like the underage woman didn't want.
That's more grooming than Stockholm Syndrome. So like if it's something like that, it's more of a grooming thing where he's gonna love bomb her and like get her all these nice things and be like, oh, like I'm really interested, and like kind of promise her all these things. Whereas Stockholm Syndrome, I guess you can really relate it more to like a trauma bonding kind of thing, where we've been through this horrible thing and like they create they have like an emotional bond because they went through the same kind of thing together.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is different, but it's still not recognized. It's more of like a conglomeration of a bunch of different psychological issues or like problems, as in like PTSD and, like I said, trauma bonding and stuff like that. It's just it's almost like a piecemeal of all those other conditions.
I can see why you were so excited about
I was
this
so
fact.
excited. I think that's so interesting.
I know. I could see why you're really excited about that.
I know you have no interest in it whatsoever.
I just, yeah, it took me a little bit to get there. It is interesting.
You still don't care. You could not care less.
It took me a little bit to get there. I didn't even know what Stockholm Syndrome was, so.
It's okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, it's okay. I get it. You don't find it interesting. Go ahead and just keep drinking your sad coffee.
My sad coffee.
It's sad.
Yeah. So we're actually recording this after the coffee talk that came out last week.
Yes, he's still drinking his bland coffee.
Yeah, I went and refilled with a little bit of black coffee.
Still kind of sad.
And Jamie is only halfway done her brown sugar coffee.
Well, it's hard to reach because it's all the way over there, and then I don't want to pick it up and then set it back down because it's going to be like
cup
loud
holders.
on here.
I drew a cup holder for this specifically, and I haven't printed them yet.
I want one.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Plus, I have a lava in my lap, and I can't get up.
I'm working on it. I actually printed the cup holder. Or, I didn't print it. I drew it. I just need to print it. But soon we will have cup holders.
I hope so. How are they going to secure here, or do they just
sit? They just slide over the top.
I feel like that's not going to be very sturdy.
Okay, let me take care of the engineering, and you just use it. It'll work. It'll work unless you accidentally punch it like you punch the mic all the time, and then you're going to break it.
Listen, okay? I'm not trying to break anything.
I think you missed the first part of that phrase. Isn't it look?
I don't think I usually say look.
I don't know. Jason knows. Jason knows.
You're right. Jason knows all. Hi, Jason.
And, yeah. We'll have to find out what the official phrase is. Or I'll just have to listen back to one of the episodes.
Or I can just make up a new phrase.
That's true. Bart'll do.
All right. What we're talking about today, after our lovely little tangent, I know we talked about home buying and everything, but I wanted to talk about how we turned our house into our home. I know it's very cliche, but we had to do a lot of work on this house.
It's still a work in progress. I can't say that
it's not done.
It's our home.
In no way is it done, but looking at it now, I can say it's ours.
Yeah. It's definitely significantly different than when we bought it.
And I am very happy with it. Specifically this room that we are sitting in, our pod lab / library.
Pod lab / library. Yeah, so when we first bought our house, we had a small list of things that we wanted to get done before we moved in. The first thing that I know that Jamie wanted to mention is that during our home inspection, we went up into the attic, which is not a floored attic, but we popped through the little hole in the ceiling to check out what was going on, check for potential roof leaks and stuff like that. Turns out, the roof did leak, and we needed to get a new roof, but we did not worry about that until after we moved in. But the main concern up in the attic was that there was a turkey vulture nest up there, specifically like a 5-foot wide turkey vulture nest.
Now, mind you, it was sans turkey vultures. The turkey vultures have since left the nest, but the nest itself and all of the remains.
Yes. So this nest was humongous. We went up there and we cut it in the pieces to get it out from the attic, which was just quite an adventure. So we pretty much tarped the floor.
It took 3 people.
Yeah, it was me and my dad and Jamie's dad, and we tarped the floor in the bedroom where the attic access door was. And I went up into the attic, and I had to cut the vulture nest apart and pass the pieces, or throw the pieces down the hole into the bedroom. And we pretty much filled up a huge tarp full, and it took, I think it was 2 trips of...
It was 2 full tarps.
Yeah, two full trips down the stairs with just pieces of the turkey vulture nest. And then after we got the turkey vulture nest out, there was still plenty of sticks and everything that we had to collect and get out. I found a few dead squirrels. There was a bunch of stuff up there that was super gross. Like, oh, man, I don't like touching like hard dead squirrels.
Honestly, I don't know a lot of people who do.
I know. Well, what's his face? The murderer that we were watching the documentary on.
Matthew Hoffman.
No.
Oh. Oh, Dahmer.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Dahmer would love to have some dead squirrels,
You're
probably.
right. I was thinking about the murderer that like lived in the trees and turned his house into an entire like forest with all the leaves.
Anyway. Yeah. It was not great. There was definitely some moments as I was clearing all this stuff out. But that was definitely number one thing we had to get done. We noticed that there was also some stains on the ceiling upstairs, and usually that is a sign of the roof leaking. But I don't think that it was signs of the roof leaking. I think it was signs of urine from...
I don't know if it was urine or other bodily fluids, because when turkey vultures feel, and I'm sorry, y'all, for having to discuss this, but when turkey vultures feel threatened or attacked, they projectile vomit.
Okay, so that's all we need to talk about that. But
so that could have been what it was.
But yeah, we got all that stuff cleared out. That was definitely an adventure and unexpected until we had the inspection, which if you listen to our house buying episode, we waived the inspection, but we got it done anyway just for our knowledge, but it had no...
We waived the contingency
yeah.
on the inspection.
Yeah, so there was no effect of the offer based on the inspection. But
yeah. And
that was priority number one, and we got it done, but boy, was that gross.
Can I just say that when we asked the guy at closing about the vulture's nest, he was like, oh, well, it's contained. Like, it's isolated. It's fine.
Yeah,
and
he was
like,
very nonchalant about it. We asked him the story, and he said that the gable vents up in the attic blew out during a storm, and he was on vacation. And then when he got home, he found that there was turkey vultures up there. Somehow they left.
He said he chased them out.
I don't believe that, because you can't chase anything when there's no floor in the attic. So somehow they left, and then he got the gable vents repaired, but he left this huge nest and all these animals and crap up there. And like, he was just so chill about it. He was just like, he's like, oh yeah, well, it's all contained, and I don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Just looking at the house, I could tell that you're a slob.
Tell us how you really feel.
Shots fired.
It was just not a very well cared for house. Like, there was like...
His fish tank was gross.
His fish tank was gross. He actually left that here.
Yeah, he left it. He was, he wanted to give it to a better home.
Yes, and we gave it to a better home. The dump.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's enough about the turkey vulture nest, but that was definitely a surprise.
It was definitely, I think, one of the most adventurous things about our house.
And that's something that we always open with when people ask, like, oh, like, what did you do to your house when you first got it? Like, the turkey vulture nest, nobody expects that to come out in conversation.
It's a good talking point.
Yeah, it sucked to have to remove it, but it's a great talking point.
Oh, it's a great talking point. I love it.
Yeah.
I especially love it because I didn't have to clean it up. I was down here working on cleaning just about everything else up.
Yeah. So after the turkey vulture nest,
I think what our big thing was, so Chris said there were a couple things before we moved in, and we were lucky because we were on a month-to-month lease at our apartment, so we could hold on to our apartment. I mean, obviously we still had to pay rent on it, but it wasn't like we had to leave there and move in automatically. So it was nice because then we could clean. So my dad brought up their shampooer, their carpet shampooer. And so we did that for each room. We wiped down all the walls. We cleaned all the baseboards. We cleaned all the windows. Chris and my mom spent like hours on their hands and knees scrubbing our kitchen floor because it just looked like there was like inches, like years worth of dirt that just had been caked on and not cleaned up.
Yeah.
And like, I'm talking hard bristle brush and bleach white, trying to get it like cleaned up.
I have to say that if you have a close, tight-knit family, it's a huge help when you go to buy a house because, you know, it was like every weekend, like either your parents or my parents were there helping cleaning, painting, doing whatever we needed to do to get the house ready for us to move in. You know, without them, it would have took us a lot longer to. We probably wouldn't have painted every room. We probably would have just moved in.
Yeah, no, we definitely would have moved in. Our house would not be anywhere close to what it is now if it weren't for our family coming up and helping us out with everything. I mean, hell, I feel like your dad was here just about every weekend working on something between the fridge, the window boxes, our sump pump.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I would say like the first weekend when we settled, it was mostly just cleaning bathrooms, cleaning the walls, possibly shampooing. I don't know. Did your parents come up the first weekend or was it the second weekend?
No, it was the first. They were here closing weekend because my dad was helping with the nest.
Yeah. So oh yeah, that's right. So we closed on a Friday.
We closed on a Friday, and we had like my parents brought up cleaning supplies. Your parents brought over cleaning supplies. We took a bunch of cleaning supplies from our apartment. And we just like got to work with cleaning. And that's right. One of the first things your dad had to do was fix our shower because the tile like came off and the wood was rotting behind
That's right.
it.
He spent a long time on the shower.
I'm telling you, your dad has put so much into this house.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So a lot of cleaning on the first weekend.
the second weekend.
Second weekend was probably a lot more cleaning, but we probably started transitioning over to trying to pick out colors for each room too. This is where me and Jamie's opinions differ. Like the whole house, when we moved in, was like one color downstairs, and then upstairs it was like one color.
Yeah, so downstairs was all yellow, like a light neutral yellow, and then upstairs was all white.
Yeah,
it was just all white, but it wasn't like a fresh coat of paint. All of it looked like it had been that way since like the previous owner bought the house.
Yeah, so for me personally, if I bought this house by myself, then I probably would have just picked a color and painted the whole downstairs that color. And then I would have picked a color for upstairs and painted the whole upstairs that color. Just because I don't care about wall color. Simple, one color. Jamie, on the other hand,
I love colors.
yeah, Jamie likes to pick a different color for every single room.
I think, I don't know, I personally feel like it just gives the room its own personality. You can make an environment and a whole ambiance for each room, and I like being able to do that. I don't like if you have a very open floor plan, like how my parents' house is now that they've taken out the dining room, how their family room and their kitchen and everything is all just one. I can totally understand them doing a very similar color, if not the same color, throughout the whole thing and keeping, because it all bleeds into each other. However, being that our rooms aren't like that, I like having each room have its own
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, this is kind of like the library / podcast area is kind of like a beachy vibe.
Yeah.
Like that clock is very beach-like.
I was going for a beachy, calm, like
Isn't the
aesthetic.
wall called Sailboat Blue or something
It is.
too?
I think it's called Sailboat. If it's not called Sailboat, then the color next to it on the swatch I got was called Sailboat. But I think it's called Sailboat.
Yeah.
But it's a light blue. It's a very calming. It's relaxing. You have all the light colored wood. You have the white windowsills. Everything is just very nautical and calming.
Yeah, I have to say this is not how I would have did it, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
I feel like most of the rooms are not how you would have done it.
I'm just not an interior designer. I don't know how to
And that's okay.
pick colors and stuff.
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
know.
I'm great at it.
Oh,
I just
like
know
the
that
purple that you picked for the family
Oh, you
room.
hated
I
it.
thought that was going to be a disaster. Thought it was going to be a disaster, And then I was like, then I'm going to have to paint this whole freaking room again. And I was going to be pissed. But it actually turned out pretty good.
It turned out really. So I went for like a nautical theme in here just because I really love the beach and everything. It's very calming. And
And
it's
this is
just,
kind of your room.
this is my room. This is kind of, I don't know. Like you have your office. I have my library.
And they're both blue.
They are both blue.
Different shades of blue.
Yes. Yours is called Shark Loop, right? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like it. To me, it's very welcoming and cozy, and this is where I like to spend my time.
Yeah.
The dining room was a bit of a struggle. I wasn't really sure what color I wanted to do for that one. But I know for the family room we were going to do a grayish. And the gray, as I was looking at everything, I didn't mean to pick a purple. It was not my intention. I think it's called Winter Calm or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was gray. So it was in the like gray section, but it has more like pinks and purples undertones.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think this will look good. And because we have the fireplace and it's got the white marble and the white mantle with it, I thought it would look good. It does look good. It was definitely not what I intended.
It was definitely a gamble. It was a gamble for sure. But anyway, so we painted all the rooms different colors.
Not all of them. We used the same color for the guest room upstairs as the family room.
Yeah.
So they're mostly different colors.
You're right. But every room on each floor is a different color. So, like, the first floor, every room is different color.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, our kitchen is drywall colored.
Yes. It is vaguely peeled wallpaper colored.
Yeah. Luckily, the only room, which that was something that we could talk about, but, like, peeling all the wallpaper off the kitchen, that was the only room that was wallpapered. And thank God for that, because I remember when we were looking at houses, there was one house that I was really interested in going to see, but it sold right away. Or it kept going under contract, like, every time I wanted to go see it. But that was, like, every room was wallpapered. And I just can't imagine. I would have just been very upset.
It would have been upsetting. However, at the same time, the steamer that your dad had, it was so satisfying to watch the wallpaper just kind of like melt off the wall.
Yeah. Still a pain, especially when you're going around cabinets and all that other crap. It's a pain to do.
Yeah.
And we're still not done yet.
Oh, no, we're still not done. Are you kidding? I'm still finding small spaces where we didn't take down the wallpaper, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah. But that'll be when we do the kitchen thing.
Yeah, that's a future us problem. The laundry room, I really liked. The laundry room.
I thought you went way too dark there when you first picked out the color, but it looks really good with the white cabinets, and I think it helps that we replaced the light in there too and made it like a really
brighter light. Yeah. So our mud room, it was just like plain white. We have our washer and dryer in there, which is white, and then we have like the old like 90s wooden cabinets. And there was a space between the ceiling and the top of the cabinets. And so Chris, being the You Good fan? I don't think she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, our Chris, being the wonderful husband that he is, he took down the cabinets and took them down so I could paint them, and then put them back up, all while his shoulder was kind of messed up.
Yeah, that was fun.
The timing, my timing is impeccable.
Yep. It was because we wanted to have this was like probably close to a year ago, because we wanted to have a Super Bowl party, and you were so you didn't want to do it because we had the cabinets down at the time.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, you were so upset because you were like, we need to get the cabinets back up or whatever. And yeah. So that's something, and that's another thing where our opinions differ. I am so much more of a wood look person. and you are totally fine with like painted cabinets,
Mm-hmm.
which like, and I still think that that's more my preference. Like, and I think it's more because I grew up that way.
I was gonna say, if you look at how, so your parents, everything is a natural wood. The windowsills, the
It didn't
doors.
start that way though. My dad literally retrimmed the whole house and stained every piece of wood that's in that house.
And well, I was talking about it with your mom and mom, because that's what they all grew up with. So
Hmm.
they all got used to everything was just wood. And I think my parents grew up with all the white trim and the white doors, and that's what we're used to. So I love the look of the white doors and the white trim. So that's what I mean. That was another thing. I had to repaint all of the trim.
Yeah, yeah. That bothers me. I hate painting trim and stuff like that.
I
So
didn't
I'm
make you
glad
paint a lot of it.
that you're okay with doing that.
Yeah, I did a lot of the painting. I think you did the ceilings, some of the ceilings, because my dad did some of the ceilings
Hmm.
as well, and then you did your office.
And yeah, yeah,
I think otherwise, for the most part, you may have helped some, but I think it was me and my parents that did a majority of the painting.
yeah,
I did that room. My parents helped with this room and the family room. I did the mud room. Mom and I did our bedroom.
yeah.
Because I know like that's
The
just,
mudroom we didn't paint until we moved in.
yeah, the mud room was after we moved in. Um, we kind of like took apart that room and put it back together because you had to do the washer.
Yeah, yeah. So we we only painted the rooms that we knew that we were going to occupy. So like the library, we didn't. I guess we just painted the library, but like that wasn't really an essential room.
It wasn't an essential room, but I think we knew because we were bringing like a bunch of books in and everything.
Yeah.
Like this was one of the first rooms we had relatively set up.
So like yeah, family room, the dining room, and the library. We had those painted. We painted our master bedroom, master bathroom, um, and I
Your
guess and my
office
office.
and the
And we I think we did the guest room, but we didn't really. I think that was just because we had paint from the other
yeah,
room.
that was a we chose like I decided we were gonna do that color as well upstairs, and so we just kind of threw it in there. But I do remember doing that before we put everything into the guest room.
Yeah,
Like I didn't have to work around.
yeah. So that's enough about paint. Another thing that, and we still have to do one of them, but was the window boxes were
Hmm.
such a pain. So like we have like these square bay style windows on the front of our house, and they are built out of wood. And because the house was so covered with trees, which that's another thing that we talked about, but the whole house was covered with trees and bushes. Um, the windows never saw the light of day for the most part, so all the wood was rotting around these boxes. So me and my dad had to go and rebuild. We rebuilt the two that are facing the front street, and then we still have one on the side of the house that we need to take care of. But that one's a little less important because it's not seen from the front of the house, so we can do more of a patch job on that. But the front two, we like fully rebuilt those, and that was a pain because it's like the wood was totally custom for these boxes. They're
It
they
was
were
a very odd width.
There was no like standard measurements for all of the wood that we so we had to like
Honestly, nothing in our house was standard. Our toilets are square. Like it's
yeah. But yeah, so we had to buy a bunch of wood and make more cuts than we probably had to, if it was made with standard sizes, but it worked out. The only thing that is hard to get is 5/4 thick wood, which that's what that like all that fascia wood that faces the street, and it's like all super smooth and everything, and that's the same wood that we were trying to replace on the front of the garage just like a week ago. Side note, funny story, we went to Lowe's and my dad kept asking where's the 5/4 wood at? And this guy did not know what that meant. And then, like, I feel like we told him 1.25 inches, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
He couldn't math it out, or
I don't know.
was he
Like,
new?
I don't know. I was just like, seriously, guy, like, because like he kept like, I don't like if he was genuinely like, oh, I don't understand what you're asking for, that would have been fine. But like, he kind of had a snarky attitude to him, and I was like, okay, man, like, learn some math. Like, I was like,
What is it with your dad getting like snarky people?
oh, I don't know, but I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, anyway, so we rebuilt the window boxes. That was a big one. The whole house was covered in trees. So we started with slowly pulling out all these bushes and cutting down smaller trees on our own. So me and my dad started in the back of the house, and we were cutting.
There's a big arch that you guys had to cut down.
Yeah, we cut the arch down. This guy had like a garden arch that was, and it had like concrete, poured concrete,
Like footers or whatever.
Footers, yeah. So we pulled all that out because there were so many vines and everything throughout the wood. Like, it was not a savable arch. And it didn't really make sense why it was there. Anyway, we took that out.
It probably would have made sense if it had been cared for.
Yeah.
I could see where it would make sense looking at like how the trees were and the bushes, but at the same time it was not very well cared for, so
Yep. And then we started cutting down trees in the back. And we would, chop them all down, bring them over to my brother's house. And then we would, and he would burn those because he can do that in his area. But then we had so many very large trees too that we had to hire a professional to come out and take them down. And that was a huge deal that, cleared out pretty much around the whole house. And then that allowed us to start working on things like the window boxes and garage doors and roof. So after we had all the trees cleared, we kind of talked about this out of order, but we did the window boxes. Then we needed a roof.
yep, we did need a roof.
That was fun. We got some quotes that were hefty, some quotes that were light. They're all still pretty hefty.
It also helped that I can't say it helped, but we had like a large storm before we started looking at that.
That's right. We did have a large storm that caused more leaking, so we were able to use our homeowner's insurance to get a little bit of it covered. Yeah. But for the most part, it was out of pocket. And like, the thing that people don't think about when they're buying a house is like, sometimes you have to do this stuff pretty quickly after buying your house. So like, we bought the house and like 2 months later we got the tree work done or whatever. And then like another few months later we got the roof done. And a lot of people, when they're looking at houses, they're thinking about stretching their budget, spending more money than they can afford.
Don't do it.
And then if you go and do that, well, look, the trees or whatever, that costs like $4,000 to take down all those trees. If you don't have any money saved up, how are you going to do that? And then, past that, we had to do a roof because we were actually taking in water. And,
we had to do the roof. We had to get a new fridge because our fridge was broken.
Yeah.
We were lucky that we bought our house in the winter, so we could at least store some food like outside in a cooler.
Yep.
But we had to get a new fridge because that wasn't working.
Yep. The fridge was broken. The washer did end up putting a lot of grease in the water of the wash. The bearings blew out in the washer, and it made tons of very, very loud noises, and was getting grease all over our clothes. So luckily we were able to save some money there. I bought a bearing rebuild kit and put in the new bearing and shaft in the washer, so we were able to restore that. But like, all these things were just added expenses that just kept hitting us, right after we bought the house. So it was lucky that we had a little bit of money saved up that we could afford all this stuff. Just another point for people looking at houses, like, just be careful.
Additionally, if you if there are smaller jobs that you think you can do yourself or you would feel comfortable doing yourself, a lot of like home repair stuff, there are YouTube videos to help show you how to do things. Because if you're able to do things yourself versus hiring someone to do it, it will also help save money.
Just like putting our kitchen faucet in. So we had a leaky kitchen faucet, so we had to go buy a new faucet. And people don't realize faucets cost like $200 now. But
it's absurd.
To put that in, I heard recently from a family friend they had a plumber in and they wanted some faucets installed, and like the guy was charging like $800 to $1,000 to install a faucet. But like it's something that's very easy that anybody can do. Unless you have some custom work that needs to happen or whatever. So most likely you could go on YouTube and learn how to do it. So that's a good way of saving money. But yeah, I would say like in the first 6 months of owning the house, we probably put at least 15 grand into different aspects of the house, roof and trees, and we probably spent over $1,000 and not over $1,000, maybe over $500 in paint. Like,
yeah, because I mean, you had the baseboards and the different rooms and
ceilings. Like every gallon of paint was like $40 or $50 or whatever. So
yeah, that's real expensive.
Yeah. So like this stuff adds up.
When we moved, I wasn't here for it, luckily, but we were able to get a lot of family and friends to help us move, which was nice.
Yeah. That didn't really help make us our home, though. That's a little off topic, but yeah.
I think it does, because it's our family and friends that are like bringing things in and helping, or it's like you're making memories. Can you stop punching your microphone?
I did it. That time it was me. I will take the blame. I hit my coffee against my microphone.
But like it helps, and then they like, I don't know, I feel like it helps make memories.
It does, memories that you don't have, but
I don't have, but I heard stories. Sydney met Aunt Barb.
Yeah, and that's all we'll say about that.
I was gonna say that was the first time Sydney met Aunt Barb, but like, you know what I mean? It's they're able to like come over and see the house.
Throwing out the old blue couch, that was
an adventure.
Big struggle. But
you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know, it's different than just if you're like hiring people to help.
Yeah.
Move.
We recently just got our garage doors done.
Yes.
So that was a huge deal. When we first moved in, our house had these old wooden garage doors. They were pretty rotted. The wood around the garage doors was also rotting at the bottom. So, like last week, me and my dad went out there, replaced all the wood that was rotting around the garage doors, repainted that, and now we got our new garage doors put in. And now Jamie's talking about repainting the whole outside again. So that's something that she can probably handle.
Not the whole outside. The problem is, so the color that we have for our window boxes is very close to matching the side panels on our front doors.
I honestly think the side panels on the front door match exactly what the garage doors are.
Well, we're gonna adjust it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But.
So yeah, Jamie wants to do some repainting out there to make things match a little better. That's fine. Another thing, one of the funny issues we had with our house that's related to the garage doors was when we first moved in. One of our garage doors started misbehaving, or one of the garage door openers started misbehaving to where it just started opening no matter what remote control was sending the open command. For example, my neighbor's keypad on their door, anytime that they hit like their enter button to open their garage door, it would also open our garage door up.
Same with their
clicker. And my parents' clicker. Like I could just drive up to our garage door, press the button with their garage door opener, and it would open. And this just started happening randomly. Like we lived in the house for, a few months, and that never happened. And then just all of a sudden, this garage door opener started taking a crap. So that was a pain. So at first I put a smart switch on the garage door opener so that when I would get home, I would turn on the smart switch to turn on the opener, and then I would press the button to open it. And that worked for a little bit, but it started to get annoying. So then my dad had an old garage door opener from either Nana's house or Mo and Pop-Up's old garage door opener or something. It was laying in the boat, because we keep our garage door openers in a boat.
I mean, where else would you keep them?
Yeah, so we took that and put it in on my garage door so that we would actually have a working garage door. Oh, actually, that was on your side. And we ended up having to, it was pretty cool. So, the lasers that shoot, or like the laser at the bottom of the garage door for the safety stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that for the garage door opener that was on your side that we put in. So it would never actually close. So we ended up buying a small microcontroller thing that allowed us to fake the signal of the sensors. Yeah. So then like it sent like a pulse like every X amount of time. So we found that we could just buy this little microcontroller and tune it to that, and then it would make the garage door opener think that the sensors were still there, and that's what we did.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I'm sure you're pumped about the new garage door openers because now you have a remote.
I have a remote. So when we originally fixed my garage door, I had a little garage door opener that looked like it belonged on like a key ring.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why you didn't add it to your key ring because you have so much other.
There was no key ring on it.
Yeah.
So it was like an itty bitty remote, like the size of maybe a little bit bigger than the size of my thumb.
Yeah, I had this
tiny.
remote. I had this spare remote from when I used to live in Manioc because I would put it in my motorcycle. So like I didn't have much storage space, so I would just put this little fob in there.
Yeah, and it was perfect for that. The problem is it didn't have a key ring on it, so I didn't add it to my keys, and I would just keep it in like my side door, the like little pocket in the side of my door. And whenever I would close the door, sometimes it would fall out and it would be on my seat or on the floor or anything like that. And one day I couldn't find it.
Eventually it got lost in the abyss of Jamie's car.
It disappeared. Luckily at that point we had I think at that point we had already had the internet, the e-controller where like I could control it through an app. So that's what I've been doing. Like when I'm sitting at the light trying to turn into our development, I would hit the garage door so that way it would be open by the time I got home. Because they were slower too. They were slower. They were rickety. They were very loud.
Yeah.
So I appreciate now having the remote that's clipped to my visor. Chris thinks it's ridiculous because I still keep CDs in my car. So I have the remote like...
She has Bluetooth. She has Spotify. She has unlimited data. So she has any song in her pocket. Yet she has a whole rack of CDs in her car.
Sometimes it just hits different.
Does it?
It does.
Does it hit different?
It does.
Because it sounds the same.
But like if you just want... So instead of having to scroll through Spotify and find whatever I want, like sometimes I just want to listen to a whole album.
So you just find that album on Spotify.
But that's a lot of work while I'm driving.
You shouldn't be changing CDs when you're driving either.
It's not changing CDs. I don't have anything in the CD player, so I just go boop, boop.
Do you have does your car have like the CD player?
No, I wish it did. Remember, base model.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're so off topic.
But no, the reason I say that is because I have one of those things that clips to the visor, and I was putting it so the buttons are up, so it doesn't get in the way of my CDs. And Chris is like, "You're putting it on backwards," and I was like, "No." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, you flip it this way. It's gonna hit the CDs. I have it this way." And he just looked at me like I had three heads.
Yeah.
But no, I am very happy with our new garage doors. They're quiet. The lights are great because the
lights are brighter than any light we had in the garage. So.
The lights we had, so our like motion censored lights wouldn't turn on, and so we always had to keep the garage light on because when I would come home, it'd be after dark, and either I can't like really see, I'd have to put my high beams on to pull into the garage, but then even after that, once I turned my car off, I can't really see what's going on in the garage.
I don't think we'll ever have to turn that light on again with those
I don't think so either.
openers. It's so bright.
But it's nice because they're motion detected too. So like even if I have to go run out to the garage for my car, or like just to grab something out of my car, I can, and the motion lights will come on.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Right, Babu?
My office is one thing that makes it feel like home to me.
Your office, it took us some time making sure we got all the desks and everything. That were correct.
that was slowly collected over like a few months. But when I first moved in, I had my childhood desk that I used for work, and then I eventually needed another desk to put 3D printers on because I had a little table, like a little side table that was like 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet that I had my printer sitting on when I was in Manayunk, and that's what it was sitting on when I moved here. But then I ended up getting another printer for Christmas from my parents, and I had 2 printers now. I needed a spot to put them. I ended up going on Facebook Marketplace, finding a super long, nice desk. So I got that. Carrying that up the stairs was a huge deal because it was just the top of it was so heavy. But me and my dad have gone on many a Facebook Marketplace
It's definitely helpful when you're looking for things for your home and you're on a budget.
Yeah, I think I paid like $50 for that desk, but brought it upstairs, got that all set up. And then I had the 2 printers on there. And then I ended up, like last year, when my shoulder got messed up or whatever, my physical therapist was evaluating how I sit, like for work, like my ergonomics stuff for work. And she suggested getting a new chair and possibly a stand-up desk. So I ended up going and getting a sit-stand desk. And then I moved my childhood desk to the other side of the room. So now I have 3 desks in the room. So I obviously needed another 3D printer. So
obviously.
You got me that one from Micro Center.
I did. That was an adventure because...
That was such a deal. And if they ever do that deal again, we need to get one for Jake because that is a good deal.
That was an adventure in itself just because I was trying to get the free 3D printer or the $100 3D printer, whatever it was. And... I like showed them the coupon. They're like, we don't have this in stock because they thought it was for like some graphics card or something. And so it was a lot of back and forth.
If they gave you a graphics card for $100, I would not have said anything. Take it
was
no matter
like,
what it was.
It was like one of those things that like, it's like, oh, you get this like deal when you purchase this. And they're like, oh, we don't have any more of that in stock. And I'm like, but that's not what this is. And he's like, no, we don't have it in stock. Like, I can't do that for you. And so it was back and forth. I ended up paying for the printer. And then I went in the car and I was like, I don't understand what happened. And I called you.
Oh, yeah. You called me and you're like, I paid full price for the printer. And I was like, then I don't want it.
And you were like, well, because I just didn't understand what was going on. I was like, is this for like the printer or is the coupon for something else that you should have gotten with the printer? Like what am I missing?
Yeah, I remember this because anyway, we're so off topic, but yeah. That guy screwed you, and
I ended up going back in because you're like, because
I was like,
I
was like, I don't want the printer. Like the only reason I wanted the printer because it was such a good deal. It was only $100 for the printer, and I think you paid like $220 or something for it. Yeah, but anyway, we'll anyway, they kind of made it like made my office like home. I got a bunch of printers and fun things for my hobbies there.
He's got printers on printers on printers. He uses printers to fix his other printers.
I do.
I think the next thing I want to do is I think we should get a pegboard for part of your wall. And then we can just hang the filaments there so you can see what you have.
Yeah, I've been debating what I want to do with that because I was thinking I could hang up TVs behind the printers and then I could have like the TVs display statistics of current prints, like, how long it's going to be until they're done and stuff like that because we have a surplus of TVs. Or a pegboard or something would be cool. I was thinking about putting a filament rack back there with like actual containers that keep the filament dry. But anyway, we're getting way off topic. But
I mean, it's your office.
It is. Recently we put in the vanity in our bedroom for you.
We did. That was another Facebook Marketplace find. We took down, so when we didn't even redo our master bath. But I really wanted medicine cabinets. So we found these larger mirrored medicine cabinets. There were no frames on the mirrors or anything like that, so it just looks like it's one big mirror, which is really nice. And then we took down the big mirror that was on the wall and held on to it. So, because in our bedroom we have a little cutout, and in the cut, like the mirror would fit perfectly in there. So we got a desk to turn into a vanity, and we put the mirror up. So now I have a spot for all of my hair things and my makeup, so I'm not taking over our sink.
Yeah, because
bathroom.
anytime that we would go out somewhere, it's just like our bathroom becomes unusable for me, because it's just the whole sink has tons of stuff scattered all over it for the amount of makeup and
listen,
straighteners plugged in and a bunch of other crap sitting on the counter.
It takes a lot to get me to look presentable for events. Okay, so I have to put on all of my war paint, put on my costume, to be accepted into the public. So, but no, so it's really nice. And eventually I want to get little like drawer dividers, or like little containers that I can set things in. So like as I open and close the drawer, it's not just like falling over. But it's nice because I have one side that's all of my hair stuff. One side is a bunch of makeup stuff. For Christmas, you got me a jewelry box, so I have that up there, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm wondering when the next time I'll be able to see the top of the vanity again.
What do you mean? It is perfectly fine. It is clean.
Mm-hmm.
You go up there right now. Go ahead, take a look.
I don't know if I'll get there because I got to walk on the floor to get there. So
listen, everything is contained behind the foot of the bed.
Mm-hmm. Another room that I'm proud of in the house is the family room. So
is that just because of your TV?
The entertainment setup, I wouldn't just say the TV, the entertainment setup. So we have a 75-inch TV. And then also, I really like the TV stand that you got that goes underneath of it. Even though our TV's wall-mounted, we have a bunch of additional items that go with the TV, like an Xbox and a Switch and the AVR and a set-top box, stuff like that. Jamie got this nice TV stand that has these barn doors on it, so that we could store all of our DVDs and game-related items that we're not using at the time.
You have a little like fabric cube, storage cube under each side, so whatever side the Switch is on, that has that little cube has all of the Switch controllers, all of the extra stuff that goes in there, the games. Same with the Xbox side. The Xbox side has a little cube that has the games and the extra controllers and all that kind of stuff in there, which is nice because it keeps it all organized and it looks nice, but at the same time it's all easily accessible.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm proud of that.
And then we have this, very nice 75-inch TV, and then we have the AVR, which has Dolby surround sound, Dolby Atmos surround sound. So that's like I forget what it was. It was like a 5.2.1 system or whatever. I forget what it actually is. No, 5.1.2. Yeah.
So you know how we were talking about how you felt about the Stockholm Syndrome fact in the beginning?
Okay. Well, yeah, so it's just cool because it has, it's got 3 channels up front, your left, right, center, and then it's got 2 behind you, which is weird. Like
it's so weird.
What was that one show that you're watching on Netflix?
So I was watching Manifest.
Yeah, where like the signs.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen the show, it's about this plane that goes missing for like 5.5 years, and when the people come back, like the plane lands, and to the people on the plane no time has passed, but they get signs. It's like a marvel that they're still alive and everything, but they get these signs and they hear whispers and like different things. So you're watching it And whenever they get these signs or like they hear something, it comes from the back speakers behind you, and it really freaks me out
Yeah.
because you don't expect it. You expect all the sound just to be coming from the front, and it feels like someone's whispering in your ear, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah. Also, when you're like watching football, the announcers and stuff like that are coming through the front speakers, and you can hear like the crowd yelling in the back speakers. Pretty cool.
It is really cool.
And then it also has the 2 up-firing speakers that are supposed to bounce sound off the ceiling. I can't say that it actually works, but
Is that from the left and right?
the front left and right
The front
have
left and
tops.
right have the tops, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a room that I'm proud of. I did it all on a budget.
I like it just because it's, I don't know, I really like the furniture that we've put in there. I like how we've decorated it.
I like that we have a IKEA coffee table that we took a granite slab from a different table and just sat it on top, and it really gives a nice
It looks
nice side
phenomenal.
table.
It gives a really nice side table. It looks great because it's the white
white granite.
white speckled granite, and it looks like it all fits, and it's literally just a slab that was supposed to be part of a different table that we don't have a spot for.
Yeah. So we have like a grayish, the walls are like a grayish purple, and then the coffee table is like a white granite. The marble around the fireplace is white. The farm door TV stand is also white. So it's got a good look to it.
It's got a nice, crisp, clean look to it. But it's really funny because it's literally sitting on top of like a $20 IKEA table.
So, we're getting close to the end here. What is your favorite part of the house?
The library.
The library.
To me, it's relaxing. It's cozy. I have all of my books here, and I know it. A lot of people look at the string of lights I have up around the ceiling. They're like, oh, it makes it look like a dorm room. Like, okay, fine. But when, like, we don't have any overhead lights here. And so when you turn that on, it just gives it a really nice ambiance where you can just sit here and, like, relax.
Yeah.
So I love this room. It's very much turned out how I want it to. I don't know. I think this is one of my favorite rooms of the house.
I have 3 favorites.
3 favorites.
So the office, obviously, because we talked about it. It's where I play all my games and do hobbies like 3D printing and stuff like that. Family room, also talked about it. Very proud of the entertainment setup there. And I spend a lot of time there either playing Xbox, or that's where we watch movies and have our movie nights and stuff, date nights, at home date nights. And then the garage, having the ability to have 2 cars and 2 motorcycles in the same garage, pretty dope.
I also really like the mud room. Our mud
Yeah.
room. I'm very proud of that, especially because we were able to use some of the wood we salvaged from the window boxes and put some shelves up. It turned out really well. It looks very much like I wanted it to. And I also have like it's like a weird sense of pride because I had this vision and I got it to come out, and like it looks really nice, and everyone that saw the dark color that I wanted to do, they're like, it's too dark. It's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. You're going to have to repaint it. And I heard that from multiple people, and I was able to get it to all come together. And everyone that's come over since, even the ones that were like, oh, it's not going to look good, they're like, wow, that looks really nice. And I just,
you're the color girl.
I'm like proud that I was able to like see something and put it into action and make it look nice.
Yeah.
So
one thing I want to point out about your library before we go is that your clock time is wrong.
I know I haven't changed it from the what's it called? Was it fallbacks? Daylight savings time.
Yeah, but also the minutes are off.
How off?
By like 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, 2 whole minutes.
Yeah, just saying. I guess you should just wait until daylight savings changes again.
Probably will.
Anyway, If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, especially about home buying or working on your house,
any fun stories you want us to share, any cocktail recipes, regular recipes, anything and everything you just want to share with us, even if you just want to say hi.
wow, you sound like really tired now. Is it time for your nap?
No, we got a lot of stuff that we ask people for at the end. Okay. I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah. If you have anything,
Even if you just want to say hi.
yeah, email us at diariesofaworkingcouple@gmail.com or slide into our DMs at diariesofworkingcouple
On
Yeah.
Instagram.
on Instagram. That's true.
Yeah, because we're not on.
We're not on any other social media,
We're not.
but
And I think saying we're on Instagram might be a stretch.
I know.
Because we have a.
We have an Instagram. We never do anything with it.
We're-
It's just like between us both working full-time jobs and like I don't know, I'm doing like YouTube stuff.
We're not heavy on social media posting. Like if you like,
in general.
I was
we're
gonna say
not.
in general, if you know us as people,
Yeah,
we don't post very often. So
but yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
bye guys.
See ya.